Hi, my name is Christina Sabella. I'm a Reverend Priestess at Heartsong Sanctuary Collective, a nonprofit spiritual organization that provides safe spaces for people to collect and connect with their spirituality, with nature, with the cycles of the moon and the sun. So we're going through all of our different temple agreements and how we agree to come into space with each other. And today I wanted to talk to you about I agree to replace my assumptions with curiosity. So what does that mean? To view our assumptions with curiosity. Now, this is a beautiful practice. You can use it in very small ways or even in big ways, because you may think that you understand what's going on with someone else, but we actually don't know what another person's reality is. And when we can share an open-mindedness to their reality, to their situation, then it might change our perspective on the world as well. So something as easy as being cut off in traffic. Right? If somebody cuts you off in traffic, and you're just like, oh, what's your assumption? My assumption is that person's a jerk. They're mean, they're rude, they don't care about anyone else but themselves. They're just late for work, or they're in a rush, But perhaps there's something else going on. Maybe they're on their way to the hospital and their loved one is having a baby. Maybe there's some other situation going on for them. Maybe they're in a traumatic nervous system situation, and we could have some spaciousness for them, right? That's just one easy example, but it gives you an idea of what it can look like when we completely try to flip the script to really see the other side. Asking them, I'm curious how you were feeling in that moment when you came to me and said XYZ. I'm curious what thoughts were going through your mind, what happened leading up to that moment, right? And we can allow people a little bit of grace from that place. So when we're in a community and we're all coming together, and say someone is talking too long during shares, or is showing up late, or not really coming in the way that we are all in agreement to come, rather than having judgment, rather than making assumptions about why that's occurring, we can open our mind and be curious and have a conversation, request more information about the situation so that we can have the full view of what might be happening for that person in that moment in time. So allow yourself, here's a little practice. Something comes to you and it feels like a challenge when you're dealing with someone else or another situation. Allow yourself to close your eyes if you feel calm and just take a breath. I replace my assumptions with curiosity. I replace my assumptions with curiosity. I replace my assumptions with curiosity. And allow that to resonate in your heart, in your energy field when you approach the situation, because that curiosity may be just what you need to truly see the other person's reality and their perspective. It doesn't make them right or you right. It has nothing to do with being right or wrong or bad or good. But when we allow ourselves to have our assumptions be replaced with curiosity, then we're going to have an open mind about the situation in a way that we did not before. When we make an assumption, we're automatically deciding something about a situation. And when we come with curiosity, we're creating an opportunity for openness, for really learning about someone else or something else that is going on. And it may be amazing, it may be terrible, we don't know, but that openness is there to discover what's really available. And so this is a principle that's really important to us because we want to be open-hearted, non-judgmental. We want to set aside our preconceived ideas of what we think may be going on for other people. In facilitation, in ceremony holding, there are surprising things that come up. And if we automatically have judgment, assumptions about people or situations, we're never going to be there when those little blossoms open up. when things occur that may be surprising, if we've already shut ourselves off to it, then there's no way for us to see it. So allow yourself to go through life with curiosity, right? Before you make a decision about a situation, asking more questions. What does that really mean? What does it mean to you? How are you feeling in that? Why did you come to that understanding? Why did you come to that decision, right? So that we can truly see the other side and how other people have created their story in their head, right? Because we're all living in these different stories in our life. So the practice is simple today. It's just allowing yourself to notice when you're feeling challenged and just say to yourself, I replace my assumptions with curiosity. I replace my assumptions with curiosity, right? And I've been in situations where I was very surprised about how people were going to treat me, even though I had an assumption that they were going to treat me a certain way because of my spirituality, because of my presentation, because of where I'm from, whatever. And when I actually got there, experienced it, opened my mind, allowed myself to set those assumptions aside and be curious about a different group or environment or culture, and was well met in that environment, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to experience that if I hadn't allowed myself to replace my assumption with curiosity. So we're losing out on life experiences sometimes by doing that, you know. An easy, silly one is that I recently got pigs here on my homestead in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and I thought they were disgusting and creepy and weird and gross and all this crazy stuff that I didn't know much about because I had never been around pigs. I had never experienced them. And my husband really wanted to get pigs, so I said, okay, fine. You know, we prepared for it and we got some pigs. And I found out so many new things about them, like that they are actually very clean livestock. They only go to the bathroom in one area within their pen. You know, they are really loving and cuddly. They like scratches. They're very smart. It's been really interesting, and I'm learning a lot. And I never would have had the experience to learn that, to get to know this about these different animals, if I hadn't opened my mind enough to set aside my assumptions and be curious. What do I have to learn here? It's plenty. There's plenty for me to learn here, right? And we never know what there is to learn if we don't set aside our assumptions and just notice that's an assumption I have, right? I'm making a judgment. I'm making an assumption about this person, place, situation before I'm actually in the experience of it, in the reality of it. So allow yourself to notice when you're having those assumptions and just feel them in your heart, in your energy field, and even envisioning yourself just placing them aside. You could pick them back up later if you need to or if you want to. And then in opening your heart, I replace my assumptions with curiosity. It's a good place for us to be in with everything that's going on in this world, right? There's a lot of really intense things that are happening that are pretty serious. And for us to replace our assumptions about that situation, about those situations and all that's occurring with curiosity is going to be very helpful as we start to sort through everything. It's going to take a long time. So sending you many blessings as you walk through your day, replacing your assumptions with curiosity. Thank you so much for joining us. We will be doing live full moons, other online offerings, and many, many new workshops and things to come as we step forward in this community at Heartsong Sanctuary Collective, a group of clergy members who are here to help support you in a safe, all-inclusive, non-denominational spiritual community so that we can all come together to heal, to grow, to learn, and to connect with the divine within each of us, right? So all of us can sing our song's sacred heart to its highest and strongest. Blessed be. Thank you.